The warrior stands atop the fallen evil sorcerer. Just as he's delivering the killing blow, the fiendish creature whispers into his ear, "May all you love wither at your touch. May people fear you, merchants cheat you, and flumps shun you. A curse upon you!" And he dies.
Tonight, let's explore cursing your players.
That's how we roll. 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 Welcome to the Goblin's Corner. My name is Eric.
And I'm Matt.
And tonight,
We're discussing cursing your players.
that's right, how to better curse your players, because we find that curses are a lot of fun, and we're in the holiday spirit because it's the Halloween month.
Yeah, we're creeping up on spooky time.
Yeah, we each got a bag of candy corn. We're diving in to the goodness. So we're going to give you some fiendish ways to mess with your players and kind of throw a little spookiness into the situation while you're gaming. And curses are the best way to do that, right?
Certainly a great way.
Yes, indeed. So we're going to dive into some curses this evening. But before we do, if you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button. Help us get our show out to more people and get notified when more amazing episodes come your way.
And hey, if you're listening to the show, give us a review on iTunes or Podchaser.
That's right. So Matt, we've used curses in D&D and many other games. What sucks about curses in the game specifically?
For a lot of them, they're simply boring. They don't have a great deal of flavor. They are delivered as mechanics, and that's it. And these are curses. Let's have a little more fun with them. As always, for us, let's give it a little more flavor.
Yeah. Curses tend to be very flavorless, as you mentioned, much like oatmeal.
Pre-chewed gum.
Yeah, they're pre-chewed gum. They're unimaginative, which is ironic because aside from an advantage or disadvantage, you can flavor them however you want. You can literally say a curse is whatever story element you have. But traditionally, they're not used that way a lot of times.
No, and you can use the mechanics and describe it in a flavorful way, but also more options and more RP link is always better.
Yeah. Curses were designed for an RP element. They don't work very well in combat. They can.
Right.
But, this is definitely something that's more of a storytelling element. And we thought tonight, what a great idea to maybe flesh out some curses and how to do them right from a storytelling gaming perspective.
Yes.
So before we jump into building a better curse, let's find out what an actual curse is. Don't worry, we did the research.
It's true. We have definitions and stuff.
We spent like 5 minutes online coming up with ideas for this. First off, what is a curse? It is a solemn utterance intended to invoke a supernatural power, spooky, or inflict harm or punishment on someone or something.
There you go.
There you go. That's it, right? It inflicts harm. It's an utterance. So it's verbal.
Yes.
There's probably some dramatic gesturing involved. Someone might be dying.
You should always silence someone just before you murder them, just to prevent curses outright.
You know what? Congratulations. We'll see you guys next week. That's the show. Matt just solved everything. Bastard.
No, the kid, you kill someone's parent and the kid curses you from across the street. Like, it's still, it's still good.
That's great. We also decided to look this up on Wikipedia as well. Matt, what does Wikipedia say about curses?
Wikipedia states, a curse is an expressed wish that some form of adversity or misfortune will befall or attach to one person or more persons, a place, or an object.
How very dictionary of them to say. So what are we talking about here, Matt?
In particular, curse may refer to such a wish or pronouncement made effective by a supernatural or spiritual power, like, gods, magic, spells, monsters.
So somebody in power is uttering a statement that does something to the detriment of someone else.
I'm a big fan also of like the dying curse. You just use all of your life energy to just punch that home.
Yeah.
But it can also be called a hex or a jinx.
Mm-hmm. So gods, magic, spells, monsters, someone with magical ability, basically, casting on someone else. In many belief systems, the curse itself is considered to have some kind of causative force in the result.
Okay.
So I curse you, something happens. You may just explode.
Sure.
Which would be
thinner.
Yeah, exactly. Just like thinner. To reverse or eliminate a curse is sometimes called a removal or breaking, as the spell has to be dispelled and often requires elaborate rituals or prayers.
I prefer this from a role-playing standpoint to saying, I use a 3rd level spell.
To remove curse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, if you're casting the spell Bestow Curse, it can be removed with Remove Curse. If you are using a storyline curse, the curse must be removed via storyline.
I love this idea. And you know what? What a great way to do this. So you can still have your cake and eat it too. Bestow curse implies an advantage or disadvantage against something. Remove curse removes that. There we go. Got some combat element. You want to do some RP heavy stuff. You know what? I'd be fine. The warrior is charging in. The halfling's on his back. He's tossing the halfling. Maybe the halfling is really pissed off because the monster killed his family.
Sure.
And with his last stab, he knows he's not going to kill the giant, right? He's just only wounded. So maybe he curses the giant. Giant gets away and his foot rots off. And he infects the entire tribe with toe fungus.
Mm.
And now they all have no feet. That's a curse.
That is a curse.
That is a combat curse, sir. Because now the party can hunt down the giants with ease. Can't run away.
I was just about to say.
Got a bunch of peg legs. So that's what we're talking about here.
Peg leg giant tribe.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
So it is a utterance with someone with some kind of power, generally of ill intent, to cause an effect. Now let's make it interesting. How do you make curses interesting, Matt?
The first thing you do is focus on the RP element.
Yep. We've already kind of alluded to that anyway, but RP elements make it more fun. Now, there's not a lot of mathematical tinkering with some of that because it could be anything. As we mentioned, it could be some kind of crazy foot rot, or it could be the 7th son ends up exploding down a family lineage.
Sure.
That could happen. That would suck if you were the 7th son.
Especially and you have to set it up as this very long running thing. Like it's actually a way to murder the king, right? Like you're a king's guard. You do something terrible. Your line is cursed. 7 sons later, the first time they meet the king, they just explode and take the king with them.
The entire castle just erupts in molten fire. That's awful.
And then collapses.
Yeah. So
and then sinks into the swamp.
This brings up something else that's interesting. Oftentimes, curses are not immediate.
Yes.
They are long-term revenge. And don't mistake it. It is revenge with the curse.
The thing is like curses aren't necessarily evil, right? Sometimes that revenge is well earned.
Yes. What we would recommend is make them story-oriented, make them long-term, give them requirements to remove the curse.
We say this might involve a side quest. I think probably it should, unless it is part of the main narrative.
This could be the entire story, is that somebody is cursed and has to remove the curse.
That's true.
We've played games like that. It's a lot of fun, by the way, because then they end up either screwing the curse up and being more cursed, or everybody gets cursed, or they remove the curse and everybody's happy. And then they get cursed again. Don't curse them again after they remove the curse. That's really a move.
It is. We've used the word curse so many times. All I can think of is, 1995, The Mummy? This is cursed. That's cursed. Everything's cursed.
Yeah, absolutely. Curses should be personal to the player character involved. If you are on the receiving end of a curse, it should be personal to you. Most likely, your actions against the person cursing you.
Yes. And speaking of which, it should be personal to the individual doing the curse.
Yes.
So not only should the curse be tailored to the person receiving it, it should be tailored from the person giving it.
This is why we tend to disregard the bestow curse spell. Not because it's not useful. It is. It is very useful.
To me, it should be bestow jinx, right? Because curse has a much wider connotation than that.
We go back to thinner, right?
Right.
That was flavorful to the guy getting the curse and flavorful to the lady bestowing the curse.
Right.
Which was great. Moving on that as well, curses should be themed to the infraction involved.
There you go.
So if someone dies or is hurt because your actions caused them to say, I don't know, catch on fire, then guess what? Your curse may be fire related.
Yes. You are now flammable.
Some sort of irony should be thrown in, some kind of dramatic amusement, some cosmic level element.
Yes, the curse of the parchment skin.
Yeah. Maybe you burn easily.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's dramatic, or maybe you just burn everybody with your touch.
Also good.
Or maybe it's just really bad skin irritation. What are some other ways to make curses interesting, Matt?
Curses should be painful for the recipient, not necessarily just physically, emotionally, spiritually. There should be a deep-seated distress over this curse.
Yes. And as you mentioned, there's several different ways that you can do that. You could damage their reputation or their social standing. What a great curse for that. No one will be friends with you ever again. Well, when you're playing a game that has role-playing elements, that sucks.
That's a good one for either a social-based character, but also for like anybody with a noble-based character.
Yeah, you're a noble of a fiefdom or, I don't know, a kingdom or something like that. You roll in, nobody likes you.
Yeah.
There's going to be some people poisoning the well pretty soon.
Live in a lonely castle as all of your people desert you.
They're going to get you at some point, right? Stab you in the back like Game of Thrones. Emotional is a really interesting way to curse someone as well. What are some examples of maybe like an emotional curse, Matt?
So you've got curses that can affect your emotions, right? Like maybe your emotions are out of balance. You are cursed to find distressing things hilarious and hilarious things distressing, right? That would be an emotional curse, but also a curse that you know will affect something you love.
That would really be tough at parties when you're laughing when someone gets hurt.
I'm the kind of guy who laughs at a funeral.
Or, you're crying because everybody's amused.
Yeah.
People think you're a weirdo.
You're a real downer. Surprise birthday party. Surprise.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's a fun element to try to get out of as well. We mentioned mental and physical. Mental can be just as simple as like a derangement. So that is a status thing that can affect you in-game.
Sure. A phobia.
Sure. You could also have like a compulsion of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Those are a lot of fun.
I like the idea of someone who is lawful good or of that sort of bent being cursed with kleptomania.
Oh, so he just starts getting
You
more
have
chaotic.
to break the law.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a choice.
Physical, obviously, you could get sick. You could have a disease. A mutation's always a lot of fun. Just cursed with being ugly, right?
Sure.
What is it?
The Fomori?
Yeah, Fomori were cursed with ugliness. They were giants, right?
They were.
That's a lot of fun. Spiritual corruption. Now you get into some fun stuff, right?
Sure.
Maybe being twisted to evil, or as you mentioned, dark powers. Maybe you become a monster.
That is a great example and a great segue into the fact that, like, Strahd
from Ravenloft,
right, was a vampire because of a curse.
Yeah, all the Dark Lords, in fact,
every one of them
were cursed in some way. Ghouls were cursed. There's a lot of monsters in D&D and Pathfinder and various other games that were the result of a curse. Lycanthropy is a curse.
Sure.
So think of
mummy rot.
Yeah, mummy rot's a terrible curse, right? Everything just falls apart. Just like this show. It's falling apart every day. Curses should be hard to undo and potentially permanent.
Yes.
Let's explore that. What do you mean hard to undo? Can you just do a remove curse and get rid of this thing? Absolutely not.
No, not for a storyline curse.
Yeah.
In some cases, the bestower of the curse may provide requirements for the removal of the curse. Until you do X, then Y, right?
Until the holy ham sandwich of Domorlane is given to me and placed upon the altar of Carfu, then your curse shall be sevenfold upon sevenfold.
For example, if...
That's a powerful ham sandwich, let me tell you.
Indeed. If you destroy a temple, you may have to atone by personally rebuilding this temple.
Brick by brick.
Yep.
Which would be amusing is if you just destroy the temple, you leave. The curse happens. You come back because you realize maybe you went and got it divined. You come back. Now you have to rebuild the temple, but the bricks have been sold across the lands.
Nice.
Because there's ruins. Those ruins just lying about. Stonemasons coming about like, oh, look at all this free stuff I can use. He's making statues, selling the brick.
Sure.
Why not, right? Now you've got to grab statues and buildings and take pieces of them out.
That is very historically accurate because in almost every empire, in almost every place in the world, any building material that could be reused was.
Yes. Now, you mentioned, we talk about the permanency part. Potentially troublesome curses could last even the death of the recipient or their bloodlines.
Sure.
So in the case of the masonry curse, you've destroyed the temple. You died trying to find all of the bricks in that temple.
And the curse just
Keeps
passes
going.
on down.
You got a son or a daughter. They pass on the lineage.
If you don't have a son or daughter, it pops over to your niece or nephew.
Yeah, it just keeps weaving its way along the family bloodlines.
Yep.
Got a particularly close friend, maybe it just jumps.
Sure.
Pet dog, I don't know. It's something. That dog's cursed. Cursed, I tell you. He'll
Just sits there and barks at one brick in the wall.
Why the hell is Fido barking at this goddamn brick? Because he's trying to fix the curse. Pull it out. What a great idea, right? You know what? We should totally have a familiar that's cursed.
Nice.
That is a great idea.
Curses should be used by creatures known for disproportionate response.
So give me an example of a disproportionate response.
Fae are well known for going well beyond both as a benefit and as a weakness, right? Like if one of them's hungry and you happen to give it some food that they love, you are likely to get a disproportionately large reward for that.
Get a whole stack of gold, like a mountain of gold for a cheese sandwich.
Right.
The ham sandwich.
Exactly.
The blessed ham sandwich. You gave him blessed ham sandwich. He's happy. But if
unfortunately,
he did not like spicy mustard.
That's right. And now you have insulted their heritage, what have you.
Yeah.
And
everything you touch turns to
spicy mustard.
You
like spicy mustard so much?
Let's go into a dungeon and turn everything into Whereupon. But of course.
But you can't loot anything because the second you touch it.
That would suck.
It's a great offensive weapon. It just doesn't get you anywhere.
I become the best deli chef in the world and monster hunter. Curses warp reality, and this oftentimes has some sort of description, and it should. Again, see bestowing a curse.
Right.
You should have some kind of reality warping description in the curse. That could be a description uttered by the person, description of reality warping around it. So, for example, I don't know, trees begin to bend over and wither, or the sky darkens, or I don't know, a million stars fall out of the sky and disappear. A frog belches very loudly. If it's a minor curse.
Sure.
Yeah.
How do you know if it's a belch or just a froke?
I don't know. A bird farts pixie dust that sours milk.
You lost me on that one. I was just like, okay.
Imagine this bird just farting and there's like dust, and wherever it lands, it sours the cow's milk.
That could be the curse.
That could be the curse. The birds fart and make sour milk.
That's how you curse a dairy farmer, right?
That's a good point.
That's actually a pretty awful curse in a place that's known for raising cattle.
May all of your milk turn to chocolate milk, which sounds great, except they all die of diabetes now.
Sure. Just want to make a regular pancake.
That's what you get for wronging a fae. That's definitely a fae curse.
Absolutely.
So to wrap up a little bit, make your descriptions interesting. Make those curses specific to the players and the monsters or the individuals bestowing the curse.
Right.
Provide some kind of lore to perform the curse or potentially undo the curse. They are a lot of fun to play with. It's a good Q&A to have with your players as well.
And we're going to talk about that.
But first, we have what, Matt?
It's time for the question of the week.
All right. What is the question of the week this week? I bet it's curse related.
It is. I do try to keep it on theme most of the time.
I'm tired. I feel like I'm already cursed. So give it to me. What do we got?
Someone has wronged you.
How dare they?
What personal Eric-flavored curse would you bestow on someone?
Oh, there's so many to choose from. But it's true. But I would say
insomnia.
Yes, you're cursed. That's a hair. Let me tell you, I'm already cursed with insomnia.
They must have done something really wrong.
You've really pissed me off if you get my insomnia. I'll give you my insomnia here. Have it. Jump off a building after a week. I would say you are cursed with electronic interference. More specifically, any electronic device that you come near exhibits a gremlin of some sort, some kind of strange, quirk that you just can't figure out and a tech support facility will not fix for you. Or if you give it to them, it is fixed and works properly for them every time.
Until they give it back.
Until you touch it.
Yep.
Welcome to my world.
And you eat watch batteries.
That is true. Yes, I do eat watch batteries as well. I'm not wearing a watch, folks. So that's a bad curse, by the way. It kind of sucks. It's amusing at times.
At times.
At times.
But most of the time, it sucks.
Yeah, particularly since we run a podcast and I do all of the electronic stuff.
It's true.
How we manage, I'm really good at what I do. What about you, Matt? What would be your curse?
I think I would curse someone with the inability to distinguish stimulus. Everything is important all of the time.
So they are cursed with ADHD.
Yeah, but only the bad parts.
Oh, not the beneficial portions of that?
Yeah, you don't get any of the superpower portion. You only get the garbage.
That would suck a lot.
You might as well also add the inability to sleep to that, right? Because every noise in your house is going to be important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you just squirrel out for forever.
For just hours at a time.
I'm sorry about that.
Hey, I figure if someone upsets me enough that is my response, then they have it coming.
Of course, we're always interested in your answer to the question of the week. So if you've cursed someone before or you've got a really interesting curse idea, hit us up at Gobbler's Corner on Twitter and all the various socials that Matt generally posts to. There's lots of people that are cursing each other on the socials.
That's all the time.
So we're on topic tonight.
Also, you can comment down below if you're watching us on YouTube. That's what it's there for.
But don't curse at us.
Please don't.
So we're talking about how to better curse your players in your game. Don't curse at them. We're like literally writing curses.
If you're going to curse at them, at least keep it creative.
And so we've kind of given you a description. We've given some ideas of how to make them more interesting. Let's talk about inserting them into your game. Now, we must preface this with a very cardinal rule that we say when we're dealing with anything like this.
Session 0, all of it.
Session 0, then.
Yes.
Because if you don't, you're going to have some upset players. Why?
Because it messes with their player agency, with the free will of their characters?
Yes. And that's something that PCs like.
Turns out.
People
are real weird about that.
Turns out it's a storytelling game, a collaborative storytelling game. And when you don't do the collaboration part, it tends to piss people off. So
that's true.
Have a session 0 with this, just like any other element that takes away free reign for player agency, right? Again, use this sparingly sometimes.
Or, as we mentioned before, base a game around it.
Yes.
Like, I actually love the idea of a game based around a cursed group of adventurers. Each one did something in the past, and they had to join together to try and get it cured.
They all have amnesia. They're all cursed. They don't know why, and they have to figure out why they're
extra awful.
Well, that's an epic campaign, right?
Yeah.
You've got to figure out what your curse is. Then you've got to figure out who cursed you,
who you are, how you got cursed, why you got cursed, and how to fix it.
Yeah. You're welcome, folks. That's a rough game. Curses are the direct result of a player's actions. Think about that as a storyteller, as a DM. How do you insert that into the players' lives? One simple question you can ask is,
what did the PCs do to deserve getting cursed?
Yeah, they did something to get cursed. Whether they put mustard on a sandwich to a pixie and they didn't want to.
Whether they broke into a forbidden temple.
Maybe they happened to step on an old bum that happened to be a demigod.
Sure.
That can happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Demigods lying around the Forgotten Realms all the time.
Or you could have like Dionysus was just like passed out in the street and you accidentally kicked him as you were walking past.
Yeah. Maybe they messed up a flump. They roughed up a flump, get cursed.
The god of Squishmallows was just like, never.
How dare you? How bad is the curse?
It could be a 1-for-1 thing, an eye for an eye, or a leg for a leg, what have you.
You killed my father. Prepare to die. Maybe your father dies.
Sure. Or, as we mentioned before, it could be something that is disproportionate. You trampled my garden, and so now every plant you touch dies.
Mm-hmm. The king is killed, and a curse reigns across the land, and it cracks the moon. That would be pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
You got to fix the moon now. Good luck.
for me, that campaign turns into find the heir and place them on the throne.
Oh, very cool. And then the moon gets healed?
Yeah.
I love that. That's what a great idea. Again, thematically, that doesn't really hurt anybody, could potentially in the world, though.
Right. Because it's raining meteorites from the moon onto the world.
Which is a great point to move on to. Theme and style. Let's theme the curse to fit the crime involved.
And you could go back to like, oh, you burned down somebody's house and therefore everything you touch burns.
Yes.
Right? That's thematically appropriate.
You have given spicy mustard to the Fae, and so all of your comments now are spicy.
Sure.
Which might be great.
Could be.
Might be bad.
You're just going to have to comment in only specific locations.
You're going to have, I would make somebody roleplay that out. You must only talk in spicy comments.
Everything must be innuendo.
It has to be a hot take.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the other kind of spicy.
I like that too. Yeah. Innuendos are hot takes. How delightful that would be.
Oh, that would be awful. I mean, it would be great, but it would be awful.
This brings us to our next point, Matt.
Tailor it to the person. If you've got someone in your party that you know could absolutely deliver that,
run it.
Run it. Absolutely run it.
Go back to the paladin, right? Tailoring it to the person involved. May not be the player, could be the character. You've got a paladin. Paladin is lawful good. Very rules driven. A crime committed, maybe it was a slight step away from good or a step away from law. Tailor that crime. Maybe he has to continue stepping away from good or law.
Could be.
Or maybe rigidly atone for that. Maybe the curse is, I now have to be extremely good and extremely lawful.
Let's say that the paladin could not save someone because of the laws.
Mm-hmm.
They are cursed with lawlessness, right? Kleptomania, what have you.
Right.
So now they're constantly breaking the law and being forced to atone for the things that they are continually doing or choosing not to atone for it and taking a different path. And that, I feel like that's a curse that works for the crime of not helping someone that needed the help.
That's cool. Yeah. So you've got your curse. You've tailored it to the person. We're going to write a description of the curse, including the dialogue. And I would say the dialogue is most important.
Yeah.
You are going to want to ham this up, right? Write some dialogue. It doesn't have to be a monologue. It can be maybe just like a sentence or two. But make it interesting, make it thematic, make it descriptive, and of course, make it themed to the person you're cursing.
If the person you're cursing is a big Stephen King fan, just one word.
Sure. Yeah, you could just do that.
Right? Just wither, burn. Right? There's lots of
dance. You must river dance forever.
There's lots of individual words that would make a perfectly good curse.
Absolutely. And then, of course, bestow the curse, right? Act it up. This should be a cinematic moment for the DM and the players. This is a fun moment when you're cursing people, right?
Yeah.
It is. It's fun. Not always fun for the people playing.
Well, no, that's the thing, though, right? Is it should be fun for everybody. It should not be fun for the character.
But it should be fun for the player.
But it should be fun for everybody at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Describe the environment when the individual curses the PC.
And we mentioned some of that, right? The clouds blot out the sun, wind whips in the trees, frogs begin to sing the Budweiser theme.
And minor curses should do all of those things just with the volume turned down.
A tiny storm cloud appears above your beer mug and spoils the beer.
A whirlwind of leaves, just real quick, right? Like a little dust devil of fall leaves, just whoosh.
Or you could go kind of an inverse kind of dramatic effect where I like to attribute it to like the Gandalf effect, where, you know, when he gets mad at Frodo and like the clouds darken and his face gets all lit up and stuff like that. So this big, bold, impressionable illusion happens, right? There's storm clouds, lightning
tiny
flares.
Little curse.
Yeah, and it's just like the curse it grows like a wart on somebody or something.
That would be a pebble in your shoe.
And it will irritate you forever. Yeah. After that, curse takes effect, right?
Yep.
Congratulations. You have now cursed your PC.
Now, this might be immediate, and the PC might know the effects,
Mm-hmm.
Or
it might be immediate and no indication of what's changed. So, for example, vampirism or lycanthropy.
if it's in the middle of the day, you'll know if it's vampirism.
Because you've turned to dust.
Yeah, because you just burst into flame.
Its hair catches on fire. Oh, my God. Trying to dig a hole. This might be conditional, and then it goes into effect. So maybe, again, you may not know until the effect kicks in.
Sure.
Although I would say, if it is a conditional curse, give the PCs some indication that it is a conditional. And it should be in the description and the wording. If you want to do like a nursery rhyme or some kind of like puzzle, sure.
Something like lycanthropy. First, you word it,
Mm-hmm.
right? You've acted like a beast, and now a beast you shall become. Sure, that gives you some solid hints. But in the couple days leading up to the full moon, which is when lycanthropy...
You find it really hard to get clean shaven.
Sure.
You're really, really wanting your steak extra raw.
And you're
You keep trying to sniff people's butts. I don't.
short-tempered.
I never
right?
said he
Like,
was turning into a werewolf.
it's true, he can be a were. He's a were golden retriever.
He's such a. You turn into the best boy.
Exactly.
Just a best boy.
What is it? The Australian shepherds that have the rope hair.
Yeah.
It's like,
How delightful, right? So what happens after that, Matt? You get cursed.
If done properly, the PCs will have an appreciation for the magnitude of this curse.
Whether it's small or large.
Right.
Yeah. At some point, they may want it removed. They probably will want it removed.
They kind of ought to want it removed.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a good curse. It should be a detrimental effect. Like, even when you get turned into the good boy, that's great. That's hilarious, first off.
If you're the best boy, you can't rage,
Oh, yeah.
right? You're not going to be able to cast. You're not.
But you can fetch like anybody's business.
Yeah, you can steal items,
And you 100% can roll over.
and you get
And be-
advantage on anybody trying to take the item back from you.
I love that. Yes. Mm-hmm. You pass all charisma checks if you roll over on your back to get belly rubs.
Sure.
There you go. So at some point, they're going to want it removed. Congratulations, you now have a side quest in effect. And they're trying to get the curse removed.
Yeah.
Yay.
Enjoy your side quest.
Enjoy your side quest. Enjoy your curse. Repeat the process for fun and profit. So we have 4 curses that Matt has written tonight for you to use in your game. These, by the way, are genius, Matt.
Thank you.
I love every single one of these curses. These are just some examples. Feel free to make your own, but of course, we aren't who we are without making some.
Yeah, got to give you some flavor.
Yeah. So, speaking of flavor, what is Stumble Tongue, Matt?
Stumble tongue is a common fey curse that prevents the cursed person from knowingly telling a lie.
Ooh, I believe there's a movie called Liar Liar.
There is. This curse is so common in the fey realm that it has led to the myth that fey can't lie.
Oh, that is super cool. So you've added a bit of story lore into this curse as well.
It is often used as a punishment for dangerous or hurtful lies.
Mm-hmm.
Fey are known to politic and to, be dangerous allies and enemies. And so I feel like this is a curse that probably gets put on an awful lot of Fey by other Fey.
Yeah. And if your character gets this put on them, this is pretty much, you can't lie. How do you get out of that? You have to basically omit.
You have to start acting like a Fey.
Yes. I would give them, if they did this for a certain amount of levels, a free Fey-touched feat.
Nice. Because I agree. Like, if you're good at it, then the Fey would appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. They might even lift the curse at some point, and then you get the Fey-touched feat, and you don't want to stop.
Yeah. Oh, this is too much fun. Next up, we have the Curse of Shadows Revealed.
All right. This curse causes your vision to overlap the real world with the local Shadowfell. How delightful. Moreover, your eyes spill light into the Shadowfell, drawing attention from the other side. So if you can see them, they can see you.
Yes.
This is definitely a curse, because if anyone knows what's on the other side of the Shadowfell,
It's not good.
None of it's good. It's all antithetical to life.
Yes.
And it wants you dead. And now you're roaming about in your world. And they're like, well, I know where he is. All I got to do is cross over here in this shadow and stab you from the back.
Also, if you're doing this, if this happens at, say, a lower level, right? Even if you don't put things that can cross over, you're constantly surrounded by terrible, terrible things.
Yes. By the way, this is often bestowed on those seeking dangerous and forbidden knowledge, and I would say this is the perfect way to have a Monster Hunter family line started.
That's fair.
Start with the Curse of Shadows revealed. They just have to bone up on their monster hunting skills or they're dead.
Right.
It curses the whole family lineage, right?
Yeah.
It's the Belmonts. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's how Castlevania got started. What a great way to start with this curse. And now it's survive or die, my friend.
You either turn into a priest or a necromancer, I feel like. Those are probably the options available
Yeah,
to
that's
you.
fair. That's pretty good. We've got the Curse of Glory denied. What's this, Matt?
Glory denied. No mortal will ever remember any good you have done, and only those you have wronged will remember you.
Well, so basically everybody hates you.
This is often bestowed on those seeking fame and glory that have lost sight of the help that they could be bringing.
That paladin who's seeking fame and glory.
Cross the line. Exactly.
Yeah, that one time.
More than one villain has been born this way because they've traded that lust for fame to a lust for infamy. Right? If the only thing you'll ever remember is the evil I've done, then I will do the most evil. If what you're after isn't helping people, it's the fame, well, there's other ways to get it.
It is what it is. And finally, we have the Curse of the Grieving Tree. This is a generational curse. Upon attaining adulthood, every child of your bloodline will find some reason to seek the death of your parent.
It's teenage drama with a volume all the way up.
It's Game of Thrones. Now, as a side note, we also thought about locational curses, such as maybe in a remote magical location or building or even an artifact. But we're going to save that for another time.
Just gives us an excuse to do another show about curses.
There you go. So there you have it. Some options on how to create your own curse against your PCs and invoke a lot of storytelling, probably some grief from them, as well as a couple of examples of curses that you can use in your game.
I love it. I love curses. I think they're a lot of fun, and I think done correctly, they can be a lot of fun for everybody.
Happy Halloween. It's not even Halloween yet, and we're giving you some candy, folks.
Happy pre-Halloween.
That's right. This is
Halloween-month.
Lore candy is what we're giving you. Any questions or comments, hit us up at Goblin's Corner on Twitter and all of the various socials. Did you enjoy this podcast? We've got a couple more brewing up. Subscribe to our show on your favorite player, YouTube and Twitch.
Also, click the 5 stars and give us a review on iTunes and Podchaser. On YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button. It helps get our show in front of more people, and it feeds the hungry algorithm.
Which is, with its dying breath, it screams to you, I shall curse you to never be seen before unless you rate me 5 stars.
Yeah, that's fair.
The curse of the mighty algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rate those stars, folks. We got to get out to more people. That's all the time we have for tonight. Once again, my name is Eric.
And I'm Matt.
We'll see you next time.
Good night, folks.
The Goblin's Corner is written and produced by Eric Holden and Matt Staples. Show song by the mighty D20. Don't we love that guy?
Sure.
This is a Subterranean production.